Hello and welcome to this After Effects certification preparation series of videos. I'm Luisa Winters. In this movie, I'd like to continue discussing Objective 2.2a, which is to identify, navigate, and manipulate elements of the After Effects interface. In fact, I want to talk today about the project panel and the timeline panel. So let's go into After Effects and get started. This is the project that I was working on the last movie. So this is a composition that we created. We called it New Composition. I just dragged some movies down and all of that. I'm going to continue working on this. But if you're just joining us now, create a composition. Just go Composition, New Composition, create a new composition, and add some stuff to it, and that's it. We're not really going to do anything. I'm just giving you some explanations on some of the icons on these panels. Let's get started with the project panel. And for that, I'm going to press and hold the Control key, which would be Command on the Mac, and I'm going to click and drag and just drag it out. And the reason for that is because I want you to just see the project panel, and I want it to be nice and large so that you can really see what's going on here. Next to the word project, we have these three lines. These are called the project panel menu or the panel menu. Some people call this the hamburger menu. And if you click here, you can customize some things. So you can close the panel, you can close the panel group, you can have a stacked panel group, you can have small tabs. Hey, you know what? You can customize it. You can also change in here which columns you see. So what columns is this referring to? Look at this: type, size, frame rate. You can make these a little bit bigger too. In and out point, tape name, comment, etc., etc. So you can customize that in here. For example, I don't care about the type. Gone. Deselected. The check mark is no longer there, and boom, there you go. You can also customize it by right-clicking on the name of any of the columns. So then you go column, and there you go, select, deselect, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. And you can actually sort these things by the size, the name, the in and out points, any of that. So easy peasy. If you don't want to see the tape name, right-click, hide this. Other things that are available in here are this little search. See this little tool, loop, magnifying glass, whatever you want to call it. You can click in there and then you can choose, hey, you know what? I need to search for missing effects. I need to search for missing fonts, for missing footage, for unused footage, for used footage. If I choose unused, all of these things appear because I'm not using any of them right now. I'm just going to go ahead and click here again and just say, hey, no, nothing recent. And you can see how convenient this is, right? I can also click here and search for something. For example, branch, because I know that I have a composition named Branch and Leaves, and I also know that I have a video file named Branch and Leaves. So if I'm looking for something and I have so many things in my project panel that I can't seem to find it, there's a search bar right here. So I'm going to delete that so that I'm not really filtering any results. But anyway, here at the bottom left, you see that there are other icons in the project panel. This one is for interpreting footage, so you can select any of these video files, say the city reveal, and then you can click on interpret footage, and you can tell it, hey, you know what, don't use the frame rate that came from the file, use something different, maybe 15 frames per second or whatever. This is really useful for when you shoot at high frame rates. Say you're shooting at 120 frames per second, but you want to play it slow motion at 30. So interpret it, change it. Instead of use frame rate from this to whatever was recorded, right? In our case, 120, switch it to 30 or 2997. So easy peasy. There are other things that you can customize. You can customize the beginning time code number. You can customize things like the pull down, and you can also change the pixel aspect ratio. These go out of the scope of what the test is going to cover, but just keep in mind that can you can interpret footage for these things, including color. You can turn color management on for this, and you can change interpretation. So, just keep that in mind that you have a lot of options under interpret footage. I'm just going to cancel out of here because I'm not really changing anything. The next icon that we have is to create a new folder. That's self-explanatory, create a new composition. We already talked about that. The project settings, which we also discussed. If we click here, it opens the same project settings that we opened when we went to File, Project Settings, same panel. This is telling us that we are at 8 bits per channel. We also discussed that. And if we select anything, we can delete it simply by clicking on this little trash can. And, that is the project panel. So I'm going to dock it back here. And in fact, you know what? Let me go ahead and reset the default workspace. And there you go. And by the way, I resetted it simply by double clicking its name, right? So there you go. It asks me, are you sure you want to? And blah, 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 revert. And there you have it. So let's go ahead and talk about the timeline panel now. I'm going to press and hold the control key, and I'm going to drag it out only because I want you to be able to see it right in the middle here. And I'm going to make this a little bit taller. Yeah, just to cover the background. There you go. I'm not going to really tell you everything about here, or this is going to be a really long movie, but I'm going to tell you about the most important things. Look at these. You see these here? This is the eyeball. This hides that layer or shows it. So, I can either click and drag and make all of the layers invisible or make all of the layers visible. The same with this little loudspeaker thing. This will mute the audio or unmute it, right? Notice that only one of these has audio included. That's why this is not available in the other layers. This little ping pong ball solos. So if I only want to see that layer, and now I'm going to move this out of the way. And in fact, I'm going to go back. If I just want to see this layer, I click here, and there you go. It hides all the other layers and shows only that one. And yes, you can solo more than one layer, right? Then you have a label color, and you can change it by clicking on it. Say, I need you to be blue. I want you to be red, whatever. It doesn't matter. But you can use this to very quickly differentiate between your layers. So it starts becoming kind of important. Now you have the layer number. You cannot change this. The layer on top will always be layer 1. Then the subsequent ones would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't change that. So if I grab the red layer and put it here on top, then the red layer becomes number 1. All right, so you cannot change that. The source name, that you can change. Well, you can't change the source name, but you can change the layer name. In After Effects, you can rename almost anything, and you do so by selecting the name and then pressing Enter or Return, right? And then name it whatever. Name it whatever. But see how now this says layer name, and you can click on it, and then in source name, and you can click on it again. So on the column header, and it gives you the layer name. All right. So the next set of icons, and these will be the last ones that I cover in this movie, are going to be the switches. We start with this guy, the shy guy. So this makes the layer invisible here in the timeline, but not in the comp panel. So let me just do this really quickly. I'm going to make these layers much smaller, and then I'm just going to click and drag it so that we can see these layers at the same time. Look at the difference. If I make one of these layers invisible, see how that's the branch and leaves? Hey, I can still see it here in the timeline. But if I click on that eyeball, I no longer see it here in the comp panel, in other words, in the monitor. Look at the difference now. If I click on the shy guy, it's going to disappear from the timeline, but you will still be able to see it in the comp panel. And you may be asking yourself, hey, Luisa, you clicked on this switch and it didn't disappear. That's because there are some switches that need to be turned on in two places. They need to be turned on at the layer level, which is what I just did, and they also need to be turned on at the comp layer. See this guy here? It disappears now from the timeline, but is still visible here in the monitor or in the comp panel. So I can do that with any of these. So I can just, boom, make all of these invisible, boom, 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 right? And now I see like one layer, but clearly I have 5. This is how most templates ship. All right, most templates are going to ship and you're going to get them with a whole bunch of hidden layers. And then you're trying to modify something and you're just going, hey, you know, where is it? Yeah, you know what? Just click on this little icon here, boom, and now you can see them again. All right, I'm going to make all of them visible again. The rest of the switches, I'm going to skip for now. And there is just one last button that I want to take you over, which is this one here at the bottom that says toggle, switches, and modes. Toggle, switches, and modes. If you click here, you're going to go to modes, track mats, etc., etc. And if you click again, you see the switches. If in the test they tell you to, oh, you know, change the blending mode to whatever of this layer, right? Select the layer and then you go, oh my God, where's the blending mode? Click on switches and modes and there are your blending modes, right here under modes. And if by any reason that fails, you know, you can't find the button, you don't see it, blah, 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 right click the column name. Right click the column name, say the words layer name, go to columns and then choose modes or choose switches or choose keys or switch to, you know, or choose render time or whatever it is that they're asking you to do. Just make sure that you're showing that column. All right. And this brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video.